Question number 8 of the PhilNITS FE afternoon portion of the exam. We are now in sub-question number 2, and in this question, we have to execute the course management class. Afterwards, we need to choose from among the choices the correct output. Okay, this question, I was able to find the correct answer by having to do all the steps to figure out how we can arrive with any of the available choices here. And I know that sometimes we don't want to do that because there's so many of these steps. But from the other questions, we can remember that it's best that we go through the steps. And also, at a later point, I thought that I got the answer already, which is D. But also, I had to double check it and verify again because sometimes you get an easy point, but because you made a mistake with the computation or something like that, you ended up with the wrong answer. And so we got to be careful in that regard as well. And that is to at least be certain that when we choose the answer, we have verified and double checked it as best as we can. Now, to answer this a question where letter D is the best answer, is the correct answer, we have to look into the course management class, of course. And this is in program number 4. We have the course management class here. And what we need to do is look at the method where it gives us the output, because we need to know what the output would be, right? So it's this part. Now, for example, we got here the student portion of the code, and here we put the student's ID, the student's grade, using the S2, because we have several students, and what we want would be the S2. Okay, so S2, we have to look at S2. Who is S2? And from the steps here, we do have S2 here, and we know that the name is Tamara Iqbal. And the student has the, I think this is the ID 16200, and the grade 3.0, and this is the, I think the units. And just to verify again what these are, then we have to look into the student class. Okay, so what is exactly being put here? What are the parameters? What do they mean, right? So if we go to the student class in program number 3, we find that what's being passed into the parameters are the name, the ID, so this is the ID, and then the creditors, and the grade, okay, the current grade. So given that know-how, can we at least narrow down the correct answer from among the choices? Then we need to, of course, look into the choices. And we can see that the student is indeed using the ID 16200. The thing is, everyone in the list also is using 16200. Now we need to know then which would be the correct answer based on the CGPA, okay, the grade. Okay, so how do we do that? Then we have to see the method called calculate CGPA. Okay, because if we look at the output, the portion where we send the output, we have here CGPA for student 2, right? That would be the output that we're gonna show in our system that printf. And if we look at CGPA, the method, what does it do? We can find something related to, let me see if I have the CGPA method. Okay, here it is, the CGPA method. So once we do the CGPA method, where we put in the student ID, then we can do the calculate CGPA. Okay, so the student class has the calculate CGPA method. The CGPA method without the calculate here is for the course management. Okay, the course management class. So now the next step is to look into calculate CGPA. What does it do? And here we see that we have some kind of computation, set of computations that we need to do. And for some, it says that we simply multiply credit hours with the CGPA. And remember, the credit hours, we got that when we put in the parameters. And we know that the value 24 and 3.0 are for credit hours and CGPA respectively. Now we need to do a multiplication of these. That's why we can get 72 as the sum. Okay. Now the next thing that we need to do is this step. We have a for loop saying that the courses, the values here says that for each of the course that the student is taking, we need to increase the sum. Okay. Now we need to know how many there are. How many courses is a student taking? So we need to go back to the course management class. Again, this is where we got the credit hours and CGPA from the student here when we added the parameters. Okay, so now we're back in course management, and this is the one where we got the 24 and 3.0 for student 2. Next, we need to add the course for student 2, course 1 and course 2. So we got 2 courses for student 2. And remember that there are other students here, S1 for example, but we're only focusing on S2. Okay, so S2 takes C1 and C2, the course 1 and the course 2. Okay, so 2 courses. And also we can see here that the grades for these courses, S2 got 3.0 for C1 and C2 for C2 2.0. Okay. So given that we are taking 2 courses, or we've taken 2 courses for S2, then if we are to compute this, we need to first, let's see if we can get the part here. Okay. We would need to first get the grade. Okay. So the grade would be 3.0. Okay, 3.0 for the first course, and then the second course, C2, we got 2.0, right? Now the question is how we got 3 here. And the way I looked it up is, if you look at this portion here, it says here course.credit R, right? We multiply it with the grade. And if you look up what is credit R, I think I have it here. In the course class, in program 1, the credit R is 3. Okay? So, once we have that, we can multiply 3 with the grades, and that's why we get 9 and 6 here. But we need to add them to our current 72, right? So 72 plus 9 plus 6 equals 87. That should give us the part with the sum, this one, okay? Now the next step is the total credit hours. The way to compute it is to have this credit hours plus course.credit hour times courses.size. We know that the courses.size is 2 because the student took 2 courses. Credit hour, we know from a while ago, is 3. And the credit hours we have here is 24 because previously we also computed it here. And in this portion of the code, this one here has the value 24. So we add all these things. But first also, I should clarify, we multiply credit hour with the course size. So 3 times 2, and then we add 24. That's why we get 30. Now, in the end, we have this part here, sum divided by total credit hours. And since we already have the total credit hours here, which is 30, and the sum a while ago, which we computed, is 87, then what we need to do is do this, 87 divided by 30, which gives us 2.9. And from among the choices, that would be letter D. And that's why the correct answer for this question is letter D.